I have no idea. I mean, literally, it works, it doesn't work, it works, it doesn't work. I'm about to pull my hair out. Got another one that's stumping me. The stereo on this works sometimes. So normally what happens is when you first turn it on, there's no sound at all from any speakers. And then usually the passenger side starts kicking in. A lot of times the passenger side will just stay working no matter what you're doing. Every now and then you get lucky and the driver's side also works. But it doesn't seem to be related to like a broken wire somewhere, because just sitting here like this, it still cuts in and out. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. It's almost like if you had a water pipe that was restricted and the water's trying to get through, and then finally enough comes through that the water comes out the other side, and then you hear it coming in again. The restriction blocks the water again, and it stops flowing, and then until enough pressure gets there, and then a little bit flows through. That's kind of what it reminds me of. I don't know, I've never come across anything like this. Obviously it's not a fuse, because it's working right now, and then it just cut out again. So, if you have any idea, maybe you've worked on these Nissans before, it's got the Bose system. I know the Bose a lot of times are a pain in the butt, but like I said, it doesn't seem to be a loose wire. I climbed in the trunk and I thought that's what it was, and wiggled little wires, and it seemed like it was working, and then I got out, left it alone, it was working, turned the key off, came back the next day, and it's silent again. So obviously it wasn't driven, bounced around, anything like that. It's literally been parked here. So let me know if you got any ideas and I'll start checking. Thanks. The symptom I'm having with the radio is some of the time none of the speakers work. A lot of the time the passenger side works, and every now and then they all work. So it doesn't seem to be anything simple like a blown fuse or anything like that. At first glance looking at this, I thought maybe somebody had tampered with it, but looking at it, to me it doesn't look like anything's been cut, spliced, anything like that. Those wraps look like they're probably factory. I don't know. On a previous day I pulled down this trunk trim, and there's an amplifier and speakers in here. I didn't see any indication of any wires that looked like they'd been cut or tampered with or chewed on or anything like that, so I'm not thinking the problem is back here. So you see I've got steady voltage to those wires there. I was assuming that it was going to be fluctuating on and off or whatever, but it seems to be very steady. The reason the battery voltage is bouncing around is because I've got it hooked up to a battery charger and I have the key on and the stereo on. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of flux. This definitely controls whether or not you have sound, because unplugging that, it goes away and it comes back. The problem is it's not consistently back on. Right now it's only playing from the passenger speakers, and then the two subs are both playing. One thought was bad ground, and the symptom typically of a bad ground is similar to what I'm having, where you kind of have that ocean wave effect of sound and then it kind of fades out, rather than just a hard cutting out and so forth. Where if you had like a completely cut ground that was temporarily making contact every once in a while, you'd have sort of a hard on-off of the sound. But with the ground that's sort of bad but still connected, you might have that ocean wave kind of sound coming in. Anyway, that didn't fix it. So I put a ground on there, grounded it to the frame, and purple wire taped up there is connected to the ground for the amplifier. And then I just did a self-tapper there. Checked for continuity with ground, and that's a good ground there. And still having the same thing. It's like tell you what, it's another thing it reminds me of, not just the water flow thing, but almost like warming up. Like it's got to be warmed up before it plays. The problem is it doesn't stay on once it's warm. So it's not just a matter of, oh yeah, wait for 2 minutes and then you have sound the whole rest of the drive. Unfortunately, you don't. The other issue, I took all of this out. I didn't do it on camera, but I had it all out, and the wire diagrams that I found in the shop manuals don't match what's behind here in any way, shape, or form. There's plugs galore. There's at least 2 or 3 that go to that unit. There's another one that goes behind there, and there's another one that goes behind there, besides that one that's hanging there that goes to the climate controls. And like I said, none of those were identified in the wiring diagrams. In fact, the closest thing I could find of what should have been a hot wire had like 0.2 volts on it or something. So anyway, this is what I'm stuck with. So if you have ideas, let me know. Appreciate it. Thank you.